What's up, superstars? Back with another video. You got Superstar Rob and you got Superstar's Metaverse Life. How you doing?
What's up? What's going on? Today I'm Surrogate Rob.
That's it. He's helping out here today. We got a little bit of a punching bag going on, but we appreciate you coming on the channel. I think everybody at this point has seen you somewhere on Twitter, but if you haven't already, guys, don't forget, become a superstar, join the Superstar fans, smash the subscribe button, and hit the bell notification button because you never know what we got coming to you. Also, thank you to all of our Superstar VIP members. If you want to join the membership, $2.99 a month, get the star beside your name, get a chance to have your name in the universe by getting a star named after you in the universe. We do that giveaway once a month. Get our spreadsheets for drops, get our spreadsheets for sweeping floors. And most recently, we have a spreadsheet set up for market cap analysis so that you can help do price predictions. Again, thank you, everybody. We appreciate all of you. Thank you guys all so much. And if you ever want to reach out to us, we love to hear from you. You got us on Twitter, you got us on Instagram, you got us on TikTok, and our Discord. Our Discord has been popping. We had a lot of people in the Discord. We go back and forth. We trade ideas, everything VeVe as well. And thank you guys all again so much. So reach out to us anytime that you want. Now, Metaverse Life. Here's his Twitter. You can find him anytime. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about your Twitter and what you're doing right now on the scene?
What's up? Yeah, I started on Twitter not too long ago, back in August. I posted one video of me hanging out with Boba Fett, and Comics and Crypto retweeted it. I'm very good friends with Sean O'Hare. He's my producer on all my film and commercial projects. And he was just like, hey, you should keep doing this. And it kind of inspired me to keep coming up with new ideas. So my main thing is making stuff with VeVe collectibles and speculative VeVe Verse style videos. Like, what can you potentially expect in the VeVe Verse?
It's truly incredible. I don't know how you do these things. Like, I remember the first one that I saw, my mouth completely dropped on the quality. It was like I was watching a cinema. The way that it told the story just using VeVe collectibles, it was incredible. I'm just going to ask you right now, like, how do you do this? How do you come up with this?
I'm luckily surrounded by some incredible creators, and Sean O'Hare, Kevin Loader, and several other friends who are great storytellers in their own right. So I have plenty of people around me to bounce ideas off of. And so a lot of the times it's the collectible that will inspire a video. Sometimes it'll be a song, or I might just have like a random joke. Like most of the time my videos end up being just like long dad jokes. So, but they're a lot of fun. And it gets me a chance to do something that's really creative in this space that is completely mine to own in my vision. I do a lot of commercial work and film work, and a lot of times I'm working with agencies and producers and production companies that tend to have their own vision and way of doing things. And even if I might be the writer and director of a project, typically I am a writer and director of the project, because I do need to execute what they need ultimately. And there's a lot of barriers to follow between. So with this, it's completely open season. I can do whatever I want with it. And so that's what I love, being able to explore this VeVe Verse. It's something I'm really excited about, something that I think we all are excited about. And I really hope that we get to experience it very soon.
Yeah, and I have a lot more to ask you about that. We'll get to that. We're going to quickly go through the daily news.
Yeah, let's do it.
And then we'll go from there. So in case you guys missed it, here we got a giveaway from Elite Comics right now. VeVe retweeted this. I think you retweeted it as well.
Yes, sir.
Batman Detective Comics. You're a big comic guy?
I used to collect comics way back in the day, and I still have those comics somewhere in a box.
Nice. Yeah. I can honestly say I'm actually not a collector. I was never a collector before VeVe. I entered a space where now I share it with many collectors, and I'm always amazed to see the knowledge that they have. You know, you ask some of these collectors, we have them in our comments below. They know our superstar consultants, as we call them. They see a comic, they tell you everything about it. They know what year it is. They know everything in the storyline. They know the value. So it's incredible. But if you're interested, Elite Comics, I think they just recently did an interview with David Yu. It was an Instagram live that they did, and these guys are physical collectors. So obviously David Yu probably has a lot of respect for that. He was in his live, like just flexing, David Yu was just showing all his different comics. So if you're interested, you can check out the rules here, and good luck to you all. I wish the juju was with you all. Now, this was the big news of today. Man. How did you do? How did it go for you?
I did not get the drop. I did pick something on the marketplace and just actually snagged my last of the set just an hour ago off of CB, who had posted it. So I'm stoked on these. I think honestly, R2 is currently undervalued, like extremely. The fact that it is animated, the fact that it's moving around, it's got the sounds and everything. I'm surprised that wasn't the secret rare over C3PO.
Yeah, we did a video yesterday discussing price predictions. The day before that, we did a video saying that your golden moments R2D2 may become worthless. And the point of the video was, and we don't think it'll actually become worthless because we speculated that the FA will hold its value. But what do you think about the fact that there's already a golden moments FA that has values trading at 800 gems? Now you have the new kid in town with a little bit more utility. It's animated with sound. Do you think that eventually over time that this R2D2 can overtake the golden moment one?
I think you're talking about two different columns here, where the golden moment is literally a trophy. You know, it is something that is something that's not only valuable, but a flex. You know, I have the golden moment, the first appearance of R2, first appearance of C3PO. These are things that are speculatively going to have utility. And even though we are experiencing an animated and sound utility, something that we can actually use within the augmented reality and interact with, I do believe that this is just going to be a different avenue that we're going to be able to use this collectible in, right? Yeah. Golden moment is going to be something that we can put up on our digital shelves and show this is something I got this when it first came out. These are going to be something that we can actually play around with, right? You don't pull out the fine china when, you know, friends come over. You pull out the stuff that we can actually use. This is something you can actually use.
Yeah, I love your perspective on that. A lot of our commenters were saying that they do believe that the FA will hold its value, but it could be a little bit short-sighted. We talked a little bit in the video about the potential utility coming into the metaverse, but we'll hold on to that until we get to that segment because I have a lot more to ask regarding that, and this ties right into the fact of the utility that might come with this potentially in the future. This was a video. I'm going to pull it up right here. I love this. You guys can't hear the sound here. Yes, this was great. I love it. It's amazing. Yeah. Look at this.
Oh,
incredible.
That's so cool.
And then,
that's so cool.
Like, this is what drew me to VeVe initially, was that they had these AR capabilities where you can drop these collectibles in any space, anywhere, and it will just do its thing. And back then, they didn't really have sound either. Not many of them. I think animation came a little bit later on. And then Alfred Khan just recently did a Spaces. I know I believe you were on it. And he was talking about how it was kind of the same thing that captured him too. And I really related to that. The fact that you could put these in any space and it can interact in that space. Yeah. So absolutely. I love this video. I thought it was incredible. We saw it, we retweeted it. So shout out Superstar Joseph. Good job on that. And here we go, Decon. We're both going to Decon. So here's our virtual handshake, and then we're going to have to do another one.
Yeah, buddy, I'm excited.
That's it, right? The whole VeVe fam's going to be there. We're so excited to come and meet everybody. We see everyone's names online, all the superstars online, but we can't wait to actually start putting some faces to the names. So there's if you hold a Hype Bow or a Decon mascot collectible on VeVe, you can now enter for a chance to win a weekend pass to DesignerCon in Anaheim. So I don't know if anybody is, maybe you live in the area and you just don't have a ticket. You don't want to buy a ticket and you have one of these, it's a cool way for VeVe. We always scream utility. It is a cool way to generate some utility by doing a giveaway, depending on the collectible you have. So I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Jordan OC, this is our Twitter now. He said that #soon 50 cardiologists will take an hour of their busy day to listen to what I have to say. Later, I'll be taking a few hours to listen to what Dino Lang at Superstar Money, at VeVe Vault, and the rest of VeVe fam have to say. Everyone has something to teach and something to learn. Guys, we're just dudes on YouTube giving our opinion, okay? This is, you can listen to us if you want. These are our thoughts, but I think you got much smarter people in the room, and Jordan OC, big superstar, won a giveaway. You're much smarter than us. I can tell you that right now. Some Alex and Crypto, by the way, huge shout out, Superstar Alex and Crypto, all over our Discord recently, giving us ideas about tomorrow. Actually, we have an interview coming with Trevor from the McFarlane project.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're crowdsourcing ideas right now, and he's been a big part giving us some ideas and some questions. So I just put more money in VeVe to buy the dip and dollar cost average. And he's feeling pretty good, I guess, right now. I think he's feeling pretty good. But the wives don't like that, okay? Wives don't like that, no. Deadpool, we got Superstar Deadpool whale. Shall we release it yet? So pretty cool here. We got Alfred Kahn and we got David Yu. So nice little animation. They talked about Pokemon. Did you hear that? Did you hear that Pokemon speculation?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? What'd you get out of that? Because I got something different, I think, than a lot of people. But what's your opinion on that?
I think it currently is everybody's saying the same thing. We're all excited and ready for Pokemon to come. We know it is going to be coming. We just don't know when. And we'll take any hint, any scrap or crumble of food regarding Pokemon. I realistically don't think that Pokemon will come until there is a greater utility within the app, whether it be a game or being able to interact with them in the VeVe Verse. It is too big of an IP to let just sit inside of an augmented reality space that you can only interact with at one at a time. I think you got to have more to be able to play with them. And I think they know that. And it's going to be something that will probably break the app if they were to release it right now. Right.
Great. Go ahead.
No, we've got so much growth still to do within the VeVe app. I think that Pokemon is they're ready to bring Pokemon in when the app is ready to support it.
That's great perspective. And that's kind of what I got of it. I was a little bit disappointed at first because the way the team has taunted us with Pokemon, with the jokes that they've made, it would be almost criminal if they didn't have Pokemon lined up. But at the same time, I guess what caught me a little bit off guard was that David, you mentioned that they're in talks, meaning there's no necessarily a deal there right now. I was like convinced that they had the deal there. It was just waiting to announce it. But the deal's not in yet. And I think you're right, because he said it's all about timing. What does he mean by that, right? It's all about timing. I think you get it. You got it perfect right there. Maybe the AR utility just isn't enough to bring Pokemon in yet. And as the metaverse starts to build and the utility and gamification that we know from the VeVe white pages is inevitable, maybe then we will start seeing some Pokemon, and that will break the app. They're not ready. I don't think they're ready for Pokemon. They're not ready for Pokemon.
Nah.
Congrats, Superstar Noel. So lucky this morning. Thanks, Superstars, for the Juju number 444 R2D2. Congrats to you. It's great. Yeah. We got Superstar Mel. She has been off Twitter and off the social pages for a while, but she came out of the woodwork for this drop. I mean, you can't blame her for this. Let's see what you have for me today. And she got one, so that's good for you.
Nice.
Congrats. This is one of my favorites.
I love that.
Crypto Cookie, Superstar Crypto Cookie. He always comes through. He's done some great things for us. Thank you again. Amazing photo. He's showing us the Juju love. Thank you so much. We love the lightsaber star. Great job. And I think the last thing that I have to mention here. Oh, another one. Superstar James Haddon. He got number 234 C3PO. So congrats to you. And then last thing, guys, don't miss it. Tomorrow we have an AMA with Trevor. Built by Trevor. So it's a community run AMA. We've been collecting questions on Twitter and on Discord. We have a list of about 24 questions. It's not too late. Submit your questions to us. We've had the AMA with Reese maybe a couple months ago now. And it was a good success because of the community. You guys, Joe and I, we do this every day. We have an idea, but when the community submits questions, we get new ones that we never even thought of still. So the more questions you guys submit, the more answers we're going to get. So we appreciate it. On Twitter, drop it down. Go on our Discord. Let us know. You can even tweet it at us. We'll find it, and we'll get it over to Trevor. So check it out, 8:30 tomorrow night. We're looking forward to it. I know Trevor is too. And we'll go from there. So
I'm so stoked for you on that interview, by the way. I love Trevor. He is such a rad dude. We met in person at the Todd McFarlane Toys party in New York Comic Con, and he and I just got to nerd out so hard on the NFTs that they're building, and it was just a great time. He's so awesome. Also, did not expect him to be like 4 inches taller than me, and I'm 6'2". So like when I saw him in person, I was like, "Whoa, dude!"
Really? He doesn't look that tall. He doesn't look that tall.
He's huge, just like such a big teddy bear. Like I didn't, there's some big people you look at and you're like, oh, you're gonna mess me up. But him, he's like, oh, I could give you a big hug. You know?
Yeah. Well, we're excited. I'm just curious, did you happen to have any involvement in the odd key? Like, did you get utility from an NFT? Because that project gives access to some McFarlane, parties. Just curious.
Yeah, I did not. Sean told me to get involved, but it happened to be just during a time when I was very busy on other projects. So I just kind of let it slip through the cracks. So unfortunately, I missed out.
Yeah, I just started learning about it. Actually, I went on their Discord. The guys there are really helpful, and started learning a little bit about that project. I don't have any. It was just curious because I know at the San Diego Comic-Con there was utility given to the holders. I think it was the Steve Aoki. I think it was called the Spawnoki.
Spawnoki, yeah.
Yeah, if you own one of them, you'd be able to go to a party. So actually, that leads to our next question, because there's new NFT projects coming up. Okay, and your name is Metaverse Lyfe, so you have an idea about the metaverse. And all these new projects coming up, but what I'm finding about them is I'm not connecting the dots between the NFTs they're showing us and the metaverse, right? We just, you see some of them, and for me, I guess the AR is what really gets me. I can understand the translation between AR and the metaverse. So we were talking about R2D2 and how, this one's animated, the other one's a trophy. What do you think about where VeVe Verse is going? What do you think about what's going to happen with like collectibles like R2D2? Do you think it's going to just translate into that metaverse environment, that VeVe Verse environment?
I do believe that they are building a platform that is going to be able to support multiple builds and engines for 3D models, 3D collectibles, etc. I think one of the biggest translation issues that for a lot of people is just that bridge that goes from physical to digital, and where I think people are going to be able to understand it better is to continue to create utility, where if you own this digital collectible or this digital asset, that it also is affecting you in the physical world. There's a lot of technology out there right now. I mean, even the MetaQuest Pro 2 that just came out, or is it the version 2 or 1? I don't know exactly. But either way, there's a lot of technology that's coming out there to support augmented reality, virtual reality, etc. We are in this like fine zone of evolving into it. And so, yes, I do believe the collectibles will be able to be used within the VeVe Verse. I think that we're going to be able to interact with them and eventually be able to control them more so than we are now. I do believe that you're going to be able to change outfits on some of your collectibles. It's yours to hold. But that being said, being able to do that is, in a sense, altering the originality of the collectible. So I do feel like there's going to be people that are going to have more value to those collectibles because they didn't touch it, because they didn't do anything with it. They just kept it in their vaults or kept it, etc. So you'll see, a Deadpool wearing a dress, or somebody like altered it. And it's like, great, that's a cool, unique design. I'm sure you could sell that, whatever. But owning the original Deadpool, that's going to be something that's going to be very valuable, unaltered.
Yeah. They were in their white pages. They talk about virtual goods. That's the name they gave it. And there was an interview from Dan 2 years ago where he was talking about how you'd be able to modify some of these collectibles with goods that they sell in the store. So maybe soon we're not going to see just collectibles, but we're going to see mods that we can find in the store. And maybe it ties right into the OMI utility program, where you can use OMI to buy these virtual goods or gems to buy these virtual goods to mod it. And we actually did a video probably 4 or 5 months ago where we talked about Superman and how you can make him green, and people lost their mind because how can you make the kryptonite color of all things, right? Some nerd thing going on right there. Anyways, but do you think that the value of these collectibles, we talked about valuations a little bit earlier between the golden moment trophy, right? Mm-hmm. Do we think that utility will ultimately, as more and more time goes on, trump all, and that metaverse utility will dominate valuations going forward on how these collectibles are priced?
Yes. Short answer, yes. We have already a very clear example of how this economy can build based off of utility within a metaverse. And this started almost 15, 20 years ago when Second Life was a thing. There was plenty of people that were actually making money within Second Life, designing clothing that you could then buy for your avatar, and creating music. I had made a teaser for a Final Fantasy VII live action web series that was never a thing I was gonna be able to bring to fruition. It was just my labor of love towards this game. I loved it. And I had people reach out and say, hey, can I put this in my second life on the screen? I'll even pay you, $50 to be able to do that. And I was like, I couldn't translate it because I was like, this is Second Life. What? And I was just like, just go ahead and use it. But the utility in the metaverse is definitely going to trump all, because what utility is just usefulness. All we need is something useful, something that's going to benefit us moving forward in the metaverse. So I think utility will trump all. I think if collectibles are attached to utility, the collectibles will gain value and continue to soar, and lead us out of this bear market.
Do you think like how do you picture it exactly? Like, we all have our kind of our own concept. And I almost get a different question. Like, everyone gets the basics of it, but I almost get a different answer every time I speak with people in my own personal life on what they think this metaverse will look like. We could start with the VeVe Verse. They're doing a demo in Anaheim. I'm not really sure what to expect. And then after that, obviously, you would assume a rollout should come soon after, VeVe #soon. We don't know when exactly. Mm-hmm. How do you envision it? The VeVe Verse, and then how do you envision maybe a year later how that's going to look?
That's a good question. I think because the technology is so new, the VeVe Verse will be interactive. It will allow us to bring our collectibles in slowly, and know that the models may have not all been built in the same engine. So it is going to be definitely a gradual transition. I believe that we're going to be able to have something better than just a vault, but like an actual space that is ours. There has been talks of real estate within the VeVe Verse for a long time. So it is not going to be just like a Tron grid. It'll probably be something greater than that. Now, as far as evolution and where we would like to see it go, I think it's going to most succeed in the social aspect and being able to interact with other people, interact not only in just talking to them, because you don't want something that is going to just be a harder version of trying to be on the phone or on FaceTime, but it's going to be something that you can play games, you can watch movies together, you can, there are games within the metaverse. Really, like, we all just want this to go towards Ready Player One. That's really what we want. We want to be able to have our own worlds. We want to be able to have all these challenges that break out. I think education is going to be huge in this. The web has everything. We now have basically a YouTube university. If you want to look up something, you can learn it on YouTube. If that was brought into the metaverse in some way in a very interactive light, then it's going to be mass adoption. Schools are going to have it. Colleges, at home, you're going to be taking, language tutorials from people. You're going to be learning how to cook. You're going to be learning how to play the violin. It's just going to be endless. So I think that's really where we hope that it will go. But in the initial run, it'll just be more of an interactive visual experience.
You see that on, like, let's say the Meta. If you remember when Facebook changed the name to Meta, they put out almost instantaneously a video very much like the ones you put out, where you visualize how the metaverse is going to look. And the example they used was a child learning about the planets in the universe and interacting with their hand. And, we wearing glasses, but you're spinning the globe and you're tapping in the space. So the computer screen's gone and everything is going to be interactive by hand. When I think about the VeVe Verse, though, one thing that comes to mind for me, honestly, is the value driven through rentability. And something that, like, it's kind of fallen off the radar a bit. But, like, to me, like, that is the massive value that we can get from these collectibles. Because if you bring utility through a metaverse, that's great. Now, people want it for games, right? People want it for any other application you could think of. I can't tell you how many times I was on my honeymoon, I just wanted a specific collectible, but I didn't want to buy it. Because let's say, it's the Yucky Charmer. I saw a rainbow. I didn't want to spend the 60 gems. I would have just loved to have rented it for an hour, used it, taken my photo, posted on Twitter. So I see that happening in the future. How far out do you think we are in terms of that kind of actual economy of the metaverse, where you have now the exchange of money in order to use the utility rather than buying it, like a renting?
That is a great question. I think and this is purely my opinion, but I think we're at least 3 to 5 years out from a strong economy being in place. Well, I would say not strong, a manageable economy taking place. You mentioned rentability, and I will say that the only time I've ever found myself thinking about renting anything was when I wanted a collectible to be able to use for my video and I didn't have it. And that would have been like exact same thing. I would have been like, oh man, if I could just rent that for literally 5 minutes, just, hey, I will pay you $2 right now for 5 minutes of me renting this, and it won't cost you anything other than being out of your vault for 5 minutes. I will shoot my thing and I will be done. That to me, that's going to make some money. Now, where I really do think it'll make money is the requirement of having a collectible to be able to do something within the metaverse. And this is more on like, I think the challenging and gameplay aspect of it. Like, for instance, let's just say there's a level in the universe where the metaverse where they say you need to have a DeLorean to be able to drive through this particular thing. If you don't have a DeLorean and you want to get that mission completed, you can rent it from somebody who has it, right? Or there's a challenge specifically that says you have to have the 1985 DeLorean to be able to complete this. And in order to do that, there's another mission that says, hey, you can do this and earn a certain amount of OMI or gems, and then you can use that towards renting the 1985 from the holder and be able to go play that mission, so on and so forth. I think that's where it's going to be really big. I do also foresee, I foresee an economy where there is going to be real estate, and there's going to be people that want to make that real estate more realistic to life, like digital grass that actually grows, digital trees that actually grow, but they don't want to manage it themselves. I mean, think about Sims. Think about the Sims game. Like, you had to keep your person fed. You had to make sure that they were going into work. They had a balanced life, right? But you don't always want to have to do that yourself. You've got a day that you got, you've got things you have to do. So I would foresee somebody making that their job, to go and manage other people's stuff within the metaverse, like almost your own gardener, your own private baker or whatever. I don't know. I'm just throwing out stuff, but there will be jobs that are going to be created just based off of the kind of real estate that is created within the metaverse.
That's insane if you think about it. That's actually crazy, because as part of the virtual goods, you just reminded me by saying that. Now, once you bring in land, you now open up a whole new market of things. People are going to want to decorate their building. So if they want to build on their land, now they got to buy bricks. That's some OMI. That's some OMI right there. Then they want to buy hardwood floor. It's no different than here at my house, where I wanted the 5.5-inch hardwood floor versus the 3-inch. Right? People are not going to think this way. What hardwood floor do I want to put in my house to decorate it? No, above and beyond just the collectibles. At what point?
Also, you don't forget, collectibles have been the poster collectibles, I think, have been not valued high enough, because once that real estate happens, people are going to have to hang shit in their houses. They're going to have to want to put stuff up, or Halloween comes around and they don't have any Halloween decorations and they want that specific poster to be hanging in their living room. That's another rentability thing that can happen. That's why I personally go for every poster I can, minus the one-of-ones. I'm not willing to spend Dr. Profit money on projects yet, but but owning that kind of stuff will be really big too.
Yeah, you don't have a couple $100 million to use, but like with the art, that's one thing that we've talked about before. I don't think art's had its time yet. I think that right now, art, really, what can you do with it? You can't even show it off, really, because if you put it in your showroom, you can't visit other people's showrooms. But definitely, when we hit a point where, you walk into someone's physical house, like, for example, you see my background here, the wall is blank, right? You walk in here. If I was able to, you come in with, you see a whole new world with the glasses, things like art NFTs should pop. And in a VeVe Verse environment where it's now interactive, even though it's still in the digital realm, things like that will now matter, because you might want that specific piece of art to match the colors of whatever theme you're going for. I love the idea that you brought up about labor in the metaverse. Like, I didn't even think of that. You're going to create jobs. Jobs are going to be created in the metaverse for this. Do you see that happening in the VeVe Verse though? And if it were to happen, you said 5 years. Did I get that right?
3 to 5 years, I think. I think the technology needs to grow enough to be able to get there. Yeah. I mean, we're still dealing with cash out issues, right? Like people, not everyone can cash out yet. We're still doing KYC. We're still, all of that is still happening. So how can we pay people in OMI for the work that they do? How can we, transfer tokens and crypto and all that stuff? That all needs to get worked out. We're just still building the platform to get there. This foundation is being laid. Once the foundation's built, build your house on top of it. But we got to get a solid foundation first.
I think Reese actually just messaged today. I didn't know why it didn't pop up on the VeVe Twitter, but I saw it. He was saying, I think OUP article's coming out Saturday, and you're right. It's still so early. There's still so much to do. How exactly was it that you even found VeVe and got involved? I think you were the 8th follower of David Yu, and he's very limited in who he follows. So how was it that you ended up becoming the 8th, and are you involved with the VeVe team?
So I got involved with VeVe because of Sean O'Hare from Comics and Crypto. Love that man and also hate him at the same time for annoying me so much when it comes to VeVe NFTs. But because of that, he got me involved. And it was an easy sell. He said, hey, Back to the Future is going to drop a digital collectible on the VeVe platform. You should get involved. And I love Back to the Future. I will watch it at least once a year, all 3, even the special edition stuff once a year. I used to watch it so much as a kid that my parents had to start hiding the VHS tapes. And so I got it on the drop after, I don't know, 20 some odd crashes in the app. Then from there, slowly got more and more involved in the collectibles, more so because Sean was saying like, hey, this is something that's worthwhile, blah, blah, blah. And then when the comics came around, I got really heavily involved into that because on the first drop, the MC1, I ended up getting a secret rare on the drop.
Oh, nice.
And I didn't know what I had. And I told Sean, he kind of went off on me and said, if you ever sell that, I'm going to disown you as a friend. So I haven't sold it yet. But then I went pretty hard on comics. And then as I said, I work in the film and television and commercial industry. So like video is something that's a big passion of mine, and started doing stuff within the collectible space, and then started sharing it with the community on Twitter. I think it wasn't until I did the VeVe 500 video that David Yu ended up following me. And I didn't realize, to be honest, how much of a big deal that was. I was honored, of course, because I was like, oh, David Yu, literally the VeVe, is following me. And when I told Sean that, he had to physically call me and tell me, he's like, you need to pick up the phone right now. And I was like, okay. And I pick up the phone and he's like, you don't have any idea how big that is, because he's only following 8 people. And I was like, oh, okay, that's really awesome. I'm honored. But he's also following David Yu's hair. So
yeah, anytime you think about the honor, you think about that, and then you realize maybe it's not that big of a deal after all.
Yeah, I started to have an ego, and then and then I remind myself of that, and I go, no,
yeah. Well, that's the thing though. Like, was that what do you? I think I heard a rumor. Like, are you involved with the team? Like, you've partnered with them now to make videos for them? Are you marketing with them now?
So I am now officially working with VeVe on some marketing content, but it is on a project by project basis. They haven't announced anything officially. Really, what it comes down to is that I have an idea for a project, and I pitch it to Alex, or Alex will reach out and say, hey, we have this collectible coming out. And there is a long-term plan that's further up in the company that is something I don't know about. So I will slowly, hopefully, be able to continue to create videos within the space for them. But I am not on staff. And I am strictly just learning about the collectibles, just like everybody else.
Nice. That's good to know. You talked earlier about engines as well. We know, I mean, I heard a rumor about Unreal or whatever, but they did say that they're on Unity, right? That the VeVe collectibles will be Unity compatible. So do you think that that the VeVe Verse is going to be just completely isolated? And do you think that eventually the VeVe Verse will just no longer exist as an isolation? I'm having trouble visualizing how the compatibility will happen between the metaverses. Have you thought about this and how that's all going to fit when related to the VeVe Verse?
Yeah. So the models as far as I know, and again, I can't confirm this. I have talked to some people that have been on the staff, and they have said that a lot of the models are built in Unity. However, that's not all of them,
Hmm.
and it's, I think, based off of an IP to IP basis.
Okay.
Um, that being said, I think that I initially touched on the fact that like they're going to slowly bring in collectibles because they're not all built the same way, and I think that
Interesting.
has to do with how they have been built. Um, but Dan has specifically spoke to, or no, David spoke to this when we had a VeVe happy hour space, where he said they had to build an engine from the ground up because they knew that they were going to be incorporating multiple different engine builds, right? We're going to think models that were created in Unreal, in Unity, and so on and so forth. Really, it doesn't come down to what the engine is. It really comes down to or what engine it was built in. It's comes down to the compatibility within the engine that is created by VeVe, right? So it is going to be from the ground up, a brand new build. And I think we're going to get to see a glimpse of what that means at DCon. And I'm sure you're going to see plenty of Twitter posts and streams that are going to be able to that are going to be interacting with the VeVe staff and finding out more information from them.
Yeah, like that's incredible. And I look at some of the other competitors that are out there right now, and I'm just not seeing that same level of verticals. Like it's like VeVe has it from the bottom up. Not only do they have the great IP and the AR functionality, now they're going to come in now with their own VeVe Verse, and I'm just not seeing the other competitors. They haven't caught up to them yet. So, Alfred Khan in the spaces was talking about how they're going to have to bring it every single day. They can't get complacent. They're going to have to keep pushing it if they want to truly end up winning the rat race.
Yeah.
To what it's going to take. I don't know. Are you aware of any competitors? Have you seen another company like VeVe? I'm just curious. I haven't, and I'm genuinely curious to know who you think could actually be a legitimate competitor to VeVe right now.
I don't know if there is a competitor that is at their scale. I believe that there are a lot of NFT projects that are out there, marketplaces, etc., that haven't been necessarily focused on what the metaverse is going to be like. I know that, again, a lot of also metaverse projects that are out there, so I don't want to knock anybody. I don't know enough to be able to speak strongly on any of them. What I will say is that the VeVe Verse project, how do I word this? I do believe that the VeVe Verse project is strongest because it is a small company. Now, and I want to relate this specifically to films. Some of the best films, the ones that tend to win the Academy Awards, are the ones that are independent films, the ones that are smaller budgets, the ones that are focused on the director's vision, the ones that are literally taking risks. Those are the ones that tend to win, not the studio films that are spending 150, 180, 200 million dollars, right? Those ones are the ones that people love and they enjoy, but the ones that are wowed by and shock them are the ones that are the smaller budgets. And David, you went on to talk about how he wish he has 1/10, 1/16 of the budget that Meta has to be able to build out their metaverse, but he doesn't have that. And so I think because they're able to take risks, they're able to like only talk with a smaller group of people, a lot more stuff gets done, a lot more vision is explored. They're able to try things that they don't have to appeal to a big board of directors for, or a bunch of stockholders, etc. Like, I think that's why we're going to see more of the things that we like as the VeVe fam than you would if you were just supporting somebody like Meta, right? The other beautiful thing about that is that the VeVe staff are very much family towards their fans, which is great. Like, they're very inviting, very warm, very welcoming. I'm sure I don't know if you've been able to experience this at other decons or that kind of stuff. It was the first time I got to experience it at New York Comic Con, which was, everybody was just like, yeah, come hang out. Yeah, why don't you hang out with us? Yeah, let's talk for a little bit. Like there was no big corporate, I'm going to answer your 3 questions and move you on because I have to answer the next 3 questions and move them on, and so on and so forth. So I think that the VeVe Verse is going to grow in the way that we all hope it does. I don't know. I can't speak for other metaverse projects, though.
I love that perspective. I mean, VeVe's done very well for themselves, and from a budget perspective, at this point,
Mhm.
sure they don't have Meta's budget, but they've been very successful financially. When none of us truly know what that success is and how much free cash flow they actually have to build these things out. But if they've brought it to where they at right now, who knows what they can do in another year or two on that metaverse side. And Reese once did say, he said, we were ahead of everybody on the NFT side, and we're going to be ahead of them as well on the metaverse side. So I'm
Mhm.
very, very excited to see what comes from that. Do you think, from your perspective, that VeVe can learn from other projects? What do you think they can learn from other projects so that they can bring it here as well to make our experience on VeVe better? And even from other metaverse projects, what can they take from that to make the VeVe the best that it can be?
That's a great question. I think any company who is complacent and says we have learned all that we need and we're focused on our own vision and we don't need to learn from any other projects is one that it will ultimately fail. Um, I learn best from my failures. I learn best from other people, and so I can't say that I don't know who they're talking to or what examples they can learn from necessarily. I think that if they are continuing to be open-minded and listening to not only the VV fam, but also listening to the tech journals and how technology is evolving and seeing the successes and failures of other metaverses, then they will be able to incorporate that better because they are a smaller team and because that they are more focused on the collector themselves, which I think is a really big win for all of us.
Yeah, like I can't agree with you more. You have to be open to criticism to grow. We've on our channel, I can tell you right now, we've done maybe 50% of our videos are criticisms of VeVe, and 50% are saying how it's going to go to be bigger than Amazon. And
Mhm.
the reason why we do it is because we wanted to give a voice to the community. The most recent one was the airdrop snapshot, right? We gave our
Mhm.
opinion on that, and it looks like Alex must have saw the video and learned from it and understood that he maybe has to be more clear in his description of what he means by snapshot if it can't be honored. So they're gonna make mistakes. They're still new at it in the sense that there's a long journey ahead, and if you're not willing to listen, then you're not willing to grow. And everybody's so
Absolutely.
new.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt. I
No
just want to give
problem.
a very specific example. When the VV Rumble contest was happening, they had listed specifically like no post production and that kind of stuff. And I'm all visual effects in most of the stuff I do, so I was like, all right, well, yeah, okay, that totally understandable. It also opens the field for way more cool and creative inspirations to be created, right? So but I was like, post production is very limiting, right? Like, we don't, what does that mean? And I was actually able to reach out to Alex and tell him, I was like, hey, like, this is a very general thing. That means I can't put music or I can't do any of this other stuff to the video. And they listened and came out and clarified. And Alex was like, yeah, you're right. There is more things that we can do here. And that's exactly what you said. The fact that they are listening and adopting and evolving from that.
Yeah, you have to evolve. And and the thing is, we're all evolving too. Our
Mhm.
understanding and everybody's learning in the space. It's an amazing thing. Before we close out here, we've had you now for 43 minutes. I just want to give you an opportunity just to give us anything else that's on your mind, anything that you want to tell our viewers, the superstars that are watching right now. Any last thoughts that you got regarding the metaverse or anything else on your mind about VeVe or whatever you want to share?
Yeah. I think that the we you hear a lot of positive coming from me, of course, and I because I do love this space, and I think because I'm very attached to the fam portion of it, like everybody is supportive of each other, and that's great. I do think that the technology is continuing to evolve, and I do support that as well. But I also urge people to continue to do their own research, continue to look into other projects because VV is not the only place that is exploring technology. That is not the only place exploring the metaverse. I do believe that their product is spectacular, and I do support that. Um, I also encourage people to listen when other people have FUD that they're throwing your way instead of reacting towards that FUD because um, Twitter is a space where a lot of people, everybody can express themselves and sometimes too much so. But what we can do is we can say that we're bigger and better than that, and we can hear them, and we can hear their concerns, and we understand their concerns. There have been a few people that have gone on to kind of blast me on Twitter, not in a negative way, but just say, hey, like, this other project is better. And I go, I don't know anything about that project, so I can't say that it is, right? And so I have to then explore that project. And I try very hard to be very positive in response to them. You know, if they say, hey, you know, VeVe sucks and I sold my entire bag and I think only, you know, X project is better, then I'm like, man, I'm sorry that like you felt like you had to sell your bag, but I would love to know what this project is that you are willing to sell your entire bag for, because there must be a reason behind that, right? Like, because I want to know. And I think that it's hard. It's easy to get defensive and defend our community. But the truth is there's a lot of communities out there, a lot of NFT projects, a lot of metaverse projects, and they're also all passionate and have invested heavily into. And I think we all need to remember that we're all trying to aim for the moon, you know.
I agree with you totally, and that's why we've been back and forth in the comments many times, you know, with any critical video. And the goal of the video is not to criticize for the sake of criticizing. That's not really productive. You got to criticize in hope of change for better. So if you're gonna offer criticism, at least offer a solution. If you can't offer a solution, at least brainstorm the rationale for it. And, you know, we've been told before by people, why are you funding your own investment? We don't see it that way. We see it as trying to improve the investment, because if you pinpoint and bring light to some issues in the future, when, you know, the bear market's finally done, those issues are hopefully resolved, so that competitors, you know, have an even harder time trying to catch up. So I agree with you. I think the cult mentality, we've talked about that before, could be damaging. You know, you don't want to be a blind moon boy, because then, you know, you're not going to fix problems. You're going to say, well, it's the user's fault. It's not VeVe's fault. It's the user's fault. They should know better, but really they shouldn't. And it's the other way around. So, I mean, that's a whole other topic altogether. Look, I got to say, you know, it's almost been an hour here. We appreciate your time. I think I learned a lot from this. I hope everybody else is watching. Guys, if you haven't already, Metaverse Lyfe, superstar, standing O for a fantastic interview.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so
No,
much.
you are very kind to have me on here. I've been watching your guys' stuff for a while now. Of course, that's why I had to include you in one of our videos. Thank you for pumping everybody up. That's like what I love about you guys. It's just, and I continue to say about the VeVe community, people just pump each other up. It's all about that. And you guys are the masters at it. Like, you sit here and you talk about everybody's videos and creations and stuff. And like, the only way we're going to get to the moon is if we all work together to do so. Right.
I agree totally. We want to support everybody in the community. You're welcome on this channel anytime. We want to support as many people as possible. You know, people are talking about making new YouTube channels. Go ahead, do it. We'll support you.
Do it.
No problem, right? The more people that are out there, the more information, the new ideas that come out there. We got coders. You know, the recent one, Omi Daily Burn has started a YouTube channel. He's doing all sorts of coding and all those things. So it's incredible. But yeah, again, we appreciate you coming on. And guys, if you haven't already, don't forget, become a superstar, smash the subscribe button, join the superstar fam, and hit the bell notification button, because you never know what we're going to hit you with. But now, tomorrow, it's out of the bag. We didn't tell you about Metaverse Lyfe, Superstar Metaverse Lyfe, but tomorrow we got Trevor coming on. Hit the bell. It is at 8:30, so just in case you forget, hit the bell. That way you got it. Again, we appreciate all of our Superstar VIPs who support us. It's $2.99 a month. They provide us. You get the star beside your name. You get an opportunity to message us on the YouTube. We'll tell you our buys and sells. We get access to our spreadsheets that you can use to help you on drop day. We thank everybody so much for their support. Thank you to all the superstars, and thank you again to Metaverse Lyfe. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Later, guys.